Imagine this. Your phone screen cracks, or the washing machine stops mid-cycle, or the lamp just dies, and something strange happens. You don't immediately search for a repair shop. You don't click buy now. Instead, you feel this pull, this quiet, almost irrational urge to pick it up, turn it over, and figure out what's wrong yourself. In a world that has made replacing things cheaper and faster than ever, why does some part of you still want to fix it? That urge isn't stubbornness, it isn't nostalgia, and it is not just about saving money. It's telling you something much deeper about who you are and what you actually need. In 2009, a man named Matthew Crawford did something that made no sense to anyone around him. He had a doctorate from the University of Chicago. He ran a prestigious Washington think tank. He had the career most people spend a decade chasing. And he quit. Not to take a better job, not to build something new. He quit to open a motorcycle repair shop. His colleagues thought he'd lost his mind, but Crawford understood something they didn't. Every day in that office, he was writing reports he didn't believe, for conclusions decided before he ever started writing. No test, no moment where reality looked him in the eye and said yes or no, just performance. Endless, exhausting performance, managing how he appeared, justifying his worth in emails and meetings. In the shop, everything changed. The engine either started or it didn't. That binary reality, that unforgiving, honest feedback from the physical world, gave him back something the office had slowly taken away. It gave him back himself. Here's what Crawford felt instinctively, and what psychologists Richard Ryan and Edward Deci spent decades proving. Every human being carries three non-negotiable psychological needs: autonomy, relatedness, and competence. Not preferences, not goals, needs like water. Competence is the need to feel that your actions do something, that you reach out and the world responds, that you are not just watching, but affecting. Modern life is very good at quietly starving this need. You spend 8 hours in front of a screen. You move things around. You send messages into the void. And at the end of the day, what did you actually make? Nothing you can hold, nothing you can point to. So the mind goes searching. It looks for a closed, concrete system, something with real rules, something that responds honestly. A broken appliance is perfect for this. It's a small, honest world. You either understand it or you don't. It either works or it doesn't. When you reach in and choose to understand it, you're not just fixing a machine. You're feeding a hunger that your jaw probably hasn't touched in months. Now, have you ever noticed that something you built yourself just feels different than something you bought? A meal you cooked tastes better than takeout, even when the takeout is technically better food. The IKEA shelf you spent 2 hours cursing at feels more yours than the expensive one you ordered assembled. This isn't sentiment, it has a name. Researchers Norton, Moshon, and Ariely ran a now famous experiment. People who assembled a simple Lego car were willing to pay more than double to keep it, compared to people evaluating the same car pre-built. Across broader measurements, people overvalue things they partially built by up to 63%. But the most revealing part wasn't the number, it was why. In one version of the study, they first gave participants an impossible math test, deliberately crushing their sense of capability. Then they offered a choice: buy something ready-made or buy something that requires assembly. 74% of the people whose confidence had just been shaken chose the harder option. When we feel inadequate, we instinctively reach for something to build. The broken object sitting on your counter isn't just a problem, it's an invitation. It's your mind saying, here is a place where you can prove something. There is a particular kind of silence that falls when you're deep in a repair. The dishes you haven't washed, the message you haven't answered, the thought that has been following you for 3 days, all of it gone. Psychologist Mihaly called this flow. the state where action and awareness merge so completely that the self temporarily disappears. Time distorts. The world narrows to the task in your hands. And it turns out that manual work is one of the most reliable paths into that state, because physical reality gives you exactly what flow requires: immediate honest feedback, a perfect balance of challenge and skill, zero ambiguity. The resistance of a stripped screw, the sharp smell of solder, the click of a piece snapping precisely into place. These aren't escapes from life. They are the opposite, a return to it, a full body, full mind presence that most of our digital hours never offer. Neuroscience confirms this. EEG studies show a specific pattern during manual flow states: elevated frontal theta waves paired with moderate alpha activity, deep engagement, without exhausting the brain. In other words, your brain was built for this. There is a Japanese art form called kintsugi. When a ceramic bowl breaks, they don't hide the cracks. They don't replace the piece. They fill the cracks with gold. The philosophy is simple, and it may stay with you longer than anything else in this video. The broken places are not something to conceal. They are where the story lives. And I think that is what repair really is, not about the object. When you choose to fix something, when you sit with a broken thing and say, "I will understand you," you are doing something that no store can do for you. You are choosing not to throw away. You are choosing patience over convenience, presence over replacement, history over newness. Every object you repair carries the physical signature of your effort: the scratch from the wrong tool, the solder that went slightly crooked, the layer of tape you had to improvise. That object now belongs to no one else on earth. And in a world that profits enormously from making you feel like a passive consumer, a world that designs products you cannot open, cannot understand, cannot fix, the act of sitting down and repairing something is quiet. But it is not small. It is a refusal. It is a declaration: I am not helpless. My hands still matter. I can still shape this world. Think of the last thing you threw away because it broke. Now ask yourself, what would it have felt like to fix it? Not just for the object, for you.